It's time for the Nebraska Volleyball Coaches Show.
Tip shot, Maggie Middleton, block back covered, left side swing, Jared Bishop's great up by Olivia. Huskers bump it over the left, Taylor cross court, a beauty. She took something off it, and it landed in. Wow, they expected the Express, missed the local 16-5 Huskers. Now the white-clad Lions, the back set, right side, Alexis Ewing, big block, Rebecca Alec, Harper Murray. Huskers with 6 blocks tonight, more blocks than a preschool. It's 12-5 Nebraska in the second. Back right swing by Kennedy Martin, dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano, kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, alongside head coach Danny Bus Boom Kelly, here's your host, John Baylor.
Greetings, Nebraska, and welcome to your Nebraska Volleyball Show. The Huskers, #1 in the land. The Big Red 14-0, 4-0 in the Big Ten, thanks to back-to-back sweeps. Penn State on Friday night. You've probably heard of that one. Maybe you missed the Rutgers match. It was right after the football game. And 3-love Nebraska out there in Piscataway. And the Huskers now with 5 consecutive sweeps. #1 in the land. Chased very closely by the nation's other undefeated team, the Texas Longhorns. This week's Friday night was Washington, 7-7. And then Purdue could be your second, maybe third best team in the conference this year. Kenna Woolard, she is a revelation. She'll be firing lasers on the left side. My name's John Baylor. You're waiting for the star of the show. She's right here, the head coach, undefeated, Danny Busboom Kelly. Good evening.
Good evening.
You're still giddy over that weekend. My goodness.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for sure. Obviously, the wins were great, but Rutgers sold out their gym for the first time, and the fans were so fun, and it was just a really fun place to play. It definitely moved up on my list of fun play. I like the gym. It's cool.
8,000 fans, and the acoustics in there are amazing.
Yeah, it was loud, and then they were so appreciative for us being there, and I don't know, it just warmed your heart.
When Harper got introduced, place went bananas.
Yes.
Same with Laney and
Yes.
Andy. And what are some other side stories that you noticed down there on the bench about how the fans were reacting?
I think I said in the post game that the little girls you'd wave at them and they'd scream and get teary eyed, and you're like, these fans are awesome. It's just really cool to have the platform to make somebody's day like that.
I mean, if you're up pretty big in the third, it's already too loved. You ever think of like waving down some of those girls? They just sit down next to me and we'll make your decade.
Yeah, I know. That would have been fun.
And then how about the crush of Husker fans after each of those matches?
Yeah, both games, in New Jersey and in State College, it was just our bus was swarmed and people just wanting to take pictures. And like I said, it's weird. We can't even sign autographs. There's just too many people. So we can't even get started with that.
Normally, the staff and players are ticked off at me because I take so long to pack up my equipment and finally get on the bus. I'm always grateful you've waited for me. It's not an issue anymore because I get to the bus. You guys haven't even emerged from a locker room because you have to wait, get assembled, and you all come out at once because the crowds are so big.
It's true.
So there's a lot of benefits to all these crowds. It makes me think, to be a Nebraska volleyball player gives you a platform. As all these young people are trying to cultivate their brand and all that. I don't think there's anything like it maybe in women's sports.
I mean, it's tough to think of something bigger as far as a team base. I do feel like, there's obviously great athletes and female athletes, but when you're talking about a whole team, I don't know what would be comparable.
Is this something you can use in recruiting?
For sure. I think it just adds to the list of kind of what sets Nebraska apart.
The reaction by the fans to the team on the road is measurably greater than it has been in years past, which is saying a lot. What do you attribute that to? I'm sure it's a lot of different factors.
I think it is a lot of it, honestly, is a stadium match from what I can gather. Just a couple fans I've talked to in these scenarios, like, what got you interested in Nebraska volleyball? It's like, well, I saw that stadium match. And then they start following the team and start following these players on social media. And that's, I think, where it comes from.
Social, I hear that's pretty popular. Social media, you feel like you're connected with the person and they're talking directly to you, and you're in like small town New York. Next thing you know, you're like the biggest Husker fan going. You're trying to figure out the rules of the game, and you're at a Rutgers match and you're all fired up. Penn State, my goodness, these numbers are just stunning. Nebraska hits 437 against Penn State, and Penn State hits negative for the weekend. Penn State and Rutgers combined hit negative. Nebraska is number one in the country defensively at holding their opposition to the lowest attack percentage by opponents in the country. But let's just start with 437 attack percentage. What was it about Penn State's defense that made them so ineffective?
I don't really know if it was Penn State's defense versus just our offense. And Bergen was setting a great game and getting everybody involved, and I just think it was very hard to defend us, especially when we're playing so smooth and everybody's having a great night.
Bergen was slinging it. And what's the difference in her game?
Just, I think the confidence level. She's a year older. Think she's, starting to understand the impact that she has on her attackers. And I just see her continue to elevate and to show trust in different ways, which is really cool. When we come out and we set Terea the first ball and she crushes out of the back row, I felt like that just set the tone. Like, everybody's an option here. We are not holding back. We are not scared. We're going to be setting everybody, so get ready.
Andy Jackson's terminating from the back right. We've never seen that before. Is the defense just completely confused? Like, where's the ball going? What's happening out here?
That's the goal, right?
Yeah. But they seem to be mystified as to where Bergen's going to be setting the ball.
I don't know, mystified. That might be a little heavy word, but she's holding the blockers and making them make a decision, and usually that's a little too late.
And she's attacking herself.
Yeah, and she's fantastic attacking right now.
She had 11 kills in 9 sets.
Yeah.
Over a stretch there. So is that you? Are you saying, Bergen, you could probably attack a little more often, or is this she's been hearing that for years. She's finally acting on it, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's more her finally acting on it. We talk about it a little bit, but we don't stress it. And I think dumping is just part of a setter feeling confident. So when they feel good to throw it down, that's just them feeling good about their game.
When you mentioned Terea thumping it from the back row for a kill, Husker fans start to dream a little bit. If she's terminating from the back row, how might she do from the front?
Well, we've seen it a little bit this year, and maybe we'll see it a little bit more. But Terea, she's a great passer. She's pretty effective out of the back row, and I just think there's some real competition at that left side spot with Terea, Taylor, and Skylar. They all are doing a really nice job and just bring a few different strengths and weaknesses.
Now, Terea is accustomed to front row terminations. She had led her high school team, Horizon High, to 33 kills in the title match. She had 619 kills her senior year, presumably most of those from the front row, but not all. My guess is in high school they're setting her in the locker room, wherever she was located in the gym. But what do you think is holding her back as a front row terminal attacker?
I really think it's just getting kills out of system and being able to go up against a huge block. And she's still young and she gets better every day, and she certainly has the work ethic. She has all the pieces. It's just, I think, just a little more comfortable out there.
She certainly has poise. I mean, her personality off the go, very boisterous, just chatting everybody up. And
yeah,
she's like
fun.
18.
She's fun, and definitely, yes. She's already a leader, I would say, as a freshman.
Skylar Pierce against Rutgers, 6 kills, 1 error. She hit 417. She's thinking, hold everything. What about me?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, those three have been in quite the battle, and it's tough because I do think they all could definitely get the job done. It's just Taylor has a little more experience, a little bit better blocker. I think Skylar's close behind her, and then Terea brings a whole different skill set of being a great passer and defender.
Rebecca Alec, she's your M1 on any other program in the country, but Andy Jackson is the one that occupies that position, correct? And
yes.
So she's in the front row for 2 rotations when the setter, Bergen's up there as well. Why might that be?
Well, Andy's just so good at slides, so she's great behind the setter. That's kind of her bread and butter, so that's where you want your M1, your best slide attacker, just be able to spread that offense out.
She's just liberated because she can just fly all the way around.
Yes.
How's her blocking? Andy's blocking.
Man, she had 3 massive stuffs over the weekend, and first time I've seen her have that big of stuffs in a while, so I feel like she's starting to take that next step as a blocker.
Is Penn State harming Nebraska right now? I'm forgetting Friday night. I mean, do you need another elite team in this conference?
Just think you need not even a elite team. You need great teams to compete all year against and to make each other better. It's like, iron sharpens iron. Everybody knows that saying. And so, yeah, I'd say that Penn State taking a step down, I think that hurts the conference, not just Nebraska. You want people to consider the Big Ten the best volleyball conference in the country. And, again, you want to be pushed throughout the year so you're ready in December. One
of the struggles your predecessors had is weaker conferences, not since 2011 when the Huskers joined the Big Ten, but it's tough to keep the team motivated over 2+ months. And so as you look to Penn State, I mean, it's very satisfying to thump them like this, but it's hard to imagine they're going to come back in any sort of manner that's going to be a particular challenge, at least in the conference. How does that make your job harder?
Well, I think the motivating piece is tough, but, if you take Penn State, for example, of course that was not a great performance by them on Friday, but they still have one of the best players in the country on the right, in Kennedy Martin. And their middles are good, and their outsides are solid. So this is a team that I disagree. They could come back in November when we play them and look like a completely different team. So I'm not counting them completely out yet.
You made Penn State basically into a one-passer team because you're going after Emmy Selman, and she really struggled, and others. So I'm just wondering, how can this team, Penn State, this is not your challenge, it's their challenge. I mean, if they've got to really figure out how to cultivate better passing, I trust.
Yeah, I feel like they'll figure it out, though. I mean, their libero is great and their DS is great. That's a great start right there. You have two great passers. So I'm sure they're working on things, and they'll have some different challenges for us in November.
Day after Thanksgiving. Purdue on Sunday. You've already started preparing for them. They reverse sweep UCLA. How good is Purdue this year?
And then they swept USC. So that was a great weekend for them out west. And, they lost a lot, which is interesting. I think a lot of people thought Purdue was not going to be very good this year. They lose Chloe Chacoin and Eva Hudson. They lost a starting middle. I think their libero graduated, so just major pieces gone. And they look as good as they ever have. And hats off to Dave Shondell. I mean, he great coach. Everybody's always considered him a great coach, and I would feel like this year that's even more obvious. He had his brother not on the sidelines anymore. I mean, a lot of changes there, and look at them. They're competing at a super high level, and they just look good on film, really good.
I wonder if the departure of some of their more heralded players really kind of awakened the rest, because they're thinking, okay, you know what? We've been playing behind those guys. They don't want to be here anymore. You just get this sense there's a great camaraderie.
Yep.
And they've got the great Elkhorn North lefty, Grace Heaney.
Yep.
She looks solid all 6 rotations.
She looks solid. Their outside, Kenna Woolard, is really physical, really looks physical. Their setters does a nice job. She's back, one of the players that's back. And they have a sophomore libero. I think she was out for a little bit because of injury, and I've been reading about how great she's doing. So, again, really impressive job so far, and that'll be a huge challenge for us on Sunday.
Sunday matinee. Stay right there. We got more Nebraska volleyball shows shortly. We got to tell you that League One volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Love Omaha Volleyball, LOVB. Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. Visit LOVB.com for tickets. And Sports Nightly listeners, here's a reminder that with every block on the court this season, Union Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor Blocking Out Hunger, benefiting the Food Bank of Lincoln, Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. More Nebraska Volleyball Show with the head coach after you hear this.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Hey Huskers, what would you do with up to $75K to upgrade your irrigation game? Automate that tough corner of your farm, add remote monitoring, or finally swap out that old pivot? Valley Irrigation just kicked off a bold $100,000 grant backing growers with real plays. 2 big awards, 1 chance to turn your irrigation challenge into a game-winning drive. See the playbook at valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. Just log in and grab an instant $50 Valley Parts or Service voucher. Here's the snap, valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other. Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 8th and October 31st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 28th in Lincoln, plus a pregame tailgate experience. Don't miss your shot to be a part of the action. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Fall City or Osceola Implement to enter. It's easy, it's free, and you could be cheering on the Huskers in person this season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Set yourself up for success with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit Sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same: a wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore-less corn, and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Welcome back. Your Nebraska Volleyball Show. The star is Danny Busboom Kelly, undefeated 14-0 head coach of your Huskers. My name's John Baylor. You mentioned iron sharpening iron, how you want another elite team to really push you. Wisconsin and Purdue look like they'd be the candidates right now, but maybe Indiana. Indiana's had some nice wins, including one over Washington, your opponent, on Friday night. Do you think your former team, Louisville, and you would have been as successful if Pittsburgh were not an elite program rising with you simultaneously?
That's a good question. I feel like, yes, we would have been, but wouldn't have been nearly as fun, and maybe nationally wouldn't have gotten the amount of attention because those rivalry games, obviously created a lot of attention. They're on major TV networks. People love to watch it. So I think that helped nationally, but I'd like to think both of us would have been fairly successful without each other. But certainly, again, more fun and probably better prepared for December, to be honest.
What are Danny Busboom Kelly motivational techniques? Especially if you got two unranked teams playing you coming out. I mean, this week you got Purdue, so this is not a big problem. They're solid.
Well, I think it's different every year, JB. So this year we have a pretty motivated team that has lost in 2 Final Fours, so they aren't taking any days off. They know what it takes to get there. Now they're trying to figure out what it takes to capitalize on being there. So that, I think, having a deep team certainly helps, where if you're not playing great in practice, if you're not motivated, somebody can come in there and take your spot. Those are probably the two biggest things.
So you don't need to come up with sayings every week or, motivational, umbrella themes for the month?
No, and then when you watch our film, there's certainly things we can get better at. So we are quick to point those out, and our players are quick to want to get better at those.
This is from Amy in Norfolk, wondering if we could look at making some free balls over the net a little more strategic, like hitting the deep corners instead of just lightly putting them over to the setter, for instance. It doesn't have to be so predictable. What do you think?
I like it. You got to give tough free balls, but at the same time, you want to make that setter play it so you get an out-of-system ball coming back. So that's just kind of volleyball 101. So even if you try to go it to the left back corner, the libero passes it, good pass, here comes the setter, they got 3 options. When the setter plays it and the libero sets it, usually there's 1 or 2 options, and you know where it's going pretty quickly.
By definition, a free ball means the opponent is free to do whatever the opponent wants to do,
Yeah.
Whereas if you make the setter play the first ball, they're not quite as free.
Exactly. Not quite.
How do you like these fans? They're not happy. 5 straight sweeps. They're like, what do we do with our free balls? Like, we got to be more
and the
strategic.
point, too, it's like we shouldn't give any free balls. You want to hit it. Hit it.
That's what Amy's trying to say. She's tired of the free balls. All righty. Meanwhile, Jeff in Omaha, when you ask a Husker blocker at the net if they touched a ball or not on an out call that you might challenge, are they always 100% honest with you, or do some of them deny no matter what? And if you will say, who is the most honest and who always says, no, I didn't touch it?
They're pretty honest. I mean, they know that could cost us a point and a challenge that we would need for a big point later in the match. So I haven't ran into any Huskers that have been lying about touches.
Danny Busboom, remember the old days? Everyone was like a theater major out there playing volleyball.
Exactly.
Everyone was faking out. I didn't tell. What are you talking about? I didn't. What? But now you got videotape. It's not perfect.
No.
But it's pretty. It can be pretty conclusive. So yeah, if you don't have any players who are chronic.
No.
Okay, good.
No. In practice, maybe when there's no replay.
No video play. Like, why didn't my guy win?
Then it just becomes about the team. Like, come on, you got to give me that kill if you touched it. And usually somebody fesses up, but it takes them a little bit to fess up.
God, making your own calls, man. I would have been a state tennis champion. Like, that's out. Out again. Sorry. My game. It's like pick up hoops. You traveled and you fouled me. Anyway, it's my ball either way. Anyway, practice calls. Anyway, Michael in Omaha says, any chance we're going to see retro alternate jerseys this year? I think the state outline with the numbers inside look pretty nice. Hold on a minute. I checked out this social media thing. And again, this is something a lot of people are into. And there was an image of a new Terraflex floor. So apparently the 2 Terraflex floors we had already, not sufficient. We got a third, and this has a Nebraska State map on it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know. I don't know why we got a new Terraflex. I think ours was aging out. There's a certain age limit on Terraflex where
Really?
where
They're like bananas.
like bananas.
After a while.
Well, so we needed a new one. I got to help pick out the design. I'm a big fan of the state outline, so that's one thing that you'll see. And then you'll see there's some red on red design, and that's supposed to look like cornrows.
Is there a little star where Cortland's located?
Oh, I should have put an Easter egg in there for
maybe
everybody
like
to find.
Little image of your parents holding hands right around Princeton. Is there any?
No Easter eggs. That would have been great. I did see a lot of people saying that you're going to have fun with this, like Kill coming from Ord.
Nice. Yeah. Pounded that one from Ord. I love it. Yeah. A lot of digs from Bankelman. Nice. Yeah, it's good because people look at the map and are like, whoa, geography does matter. So
it's not a map. It's just the state. So there's no map. So you're going to have
It's not topographical.
No.
And if it were, it'd be pretty flat anyway. That's one point we should make there. I don't think the Buffaloes of Colorado are going with a topographical map anytime soon for their playing surface for volleyball. But it's pretty cool. I like it because you're reminded, okay, that's what we do look like as a state. We're all together. We're one big old team.
Exactly.
They might be out there and shattering, but we're all, Homo sapiens, and most of us are right-handed.
Yep.
There are a lot of ties that bind.
Exactly.
It's good stuff. So you had nothing to do. You're not in charge of the Terraflex department here at Nebraska?
I told you I got to help pick the design. I didn't know we were getting a new one, though. When I found that out, they said, hey, you want some input on this design? I said, sure.
Okay.
I'll take a look.
How many are we collecting Terraflex floors? What's the over-under on number? How much storage space do we have for these? Because at practice, how many do you have out there?
2, which is...
You only have 2, so 1 wooden, because you got room for 3 courts, so 1 court's wood.
Maybe we need 3 practice ones.
Now you're all set.
Now we're set.
Who got consigned to the wood floor court in practice? Those kind of guys who probably aren't going to get to play much?
The wood floor are usually, unfortunately, the liberos. They're not jumping. It's like, see you guys later. Go do
They're diving. They're scraping on the wood floor.
Well, that's when they're not working on diving. They're working on passing or they're working on out-of-system setting.
But you don't have any sympathy anyway, because that's all you played on was wood floors.
Yeah, I don't have sympathy at all.
Yeah, you're like, guys, get over it. Terraflex is pretty cushy. All right. By the way, if you want to chime in, just go to Twitter. It's one of these social media things. I think it goes by a single letter now. And you can just chime in with your questions for the week. Michael's got one. When your team wins a match, what percentage of that do you credit to your game plan? Will that percentage increase in the Final Four? Also, your X-play, your crossing patterns, and your setting the back row both look unbeatable right now. Do you agree? If yes, will you try to employ them more? There are multiple questions in this.
Multiple. So number one, of course, the credit given to the game plan goes up the more it's like,
huge correlation.
Huge. The game plan was great. The coaches are fantastic.
Dynamite. But when you lose, look, you're only as good as your players, okay? So it's like, I would have been an awesome swimming coach. All right, guys, we got to go faster, okay? Is there any confusion here? Cross-country swimming, I'd have been an awesome coach.
No, for real, though, the game plan in volleyball, I wouldn't say it's probably as important as a sport like football.
Really?
Because you're not starting with like a static ball. It's coming at you. There's things that are out of your control. Really, nothing is completely in your control. But I will say the way we prep for the game plan and how we defend teams certainly makes a difference. And I can tell already when we spend more time on a team, when we do a good job as a staff, that our players are way more confident. So I saw that early with Pitt. And luckily, I'd played Pitt a million times in the last 8 years. So I had a pretty good idea of them. And we started prepping for them weeks in advance. Played great defense. Penn State, we had prepped for them for a while. We were coming off a weekend. We had the full week. So you saw the benefits of that.
Yeah, but against Michigan, though, you were targeting the wrong person with the serve initially, but then you
adjusted. See?
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, the libero's like, keep it coming. I'm loving this. And Michigan's like, don't intentionally shank a couple so they just keep coming at you. But then you're like, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah, so then we shifted. And then the second part of that, the X plays in the back row.
All the movement, all the crossing, everyone's moving around.
It's great. You got to pass well to do that. Sometimes we might have that play called, but then the pass doesn't come in, so we have to abort the mission.
Say that one more time. When you don't pass well, you had a mission, but mission's off.
Yeah.
And the players kind of know that. No one has to say abort.
No.
Everyone just knows we're going to run that crisscross, but we're not running it anymore because the pass wasn't where we wanted it.
Exactly.
Nice. But like Harper's hitting from all sorts of locations, and then the cannon strike. That's a new play where the right side comes flying into the middle. A lot of movement, horizontal movement.
And then Skylar had a great cannon strike against Rutgers. I don't know if you saw that, JB.
I watch every point.
It was impressive. So, yes, more of those.
I like cannon strikes. Meanwhile, this is your Nebraska Volleyball Show, and it's brought to you by Central Valley Ag. Get reliable propane fuel and lubricants from Central Valley Ag for home, farm, and business. And you can contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free. It's easy. It is the law. Nebraska 811. More Nebraska Volleyball Show with the head coach after you hear this.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore-less corn. And other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Welcome back to your Nebraska Volleyball Show. I'm John Baylor. There is the head coach for Nebraska Volleyball, Danny Busboom Kelly, 14-0, #1 in the land. Hey, Friday night, 8 o'clock Central Time, the Washington Huskies. Now, it's only Tuesday. You do your planning for the second match of the weekend early in the week, and then the first match later in the week. What can you tell us about Washington?
Well, we haven't started prepping them yet, so we're getting to that. We've been focused on Purdue yesterday and today. We'll do Purdue again, but Wednesday, Thursday will be on Washington, and I know that they have a player I actually recruited pretty heavily at Louisville, one of their middles, Julia Hunt, and she had a really nice freshman year. They also have the transfer from Penn State, Alexa Markley, who I also recruited at Louisville. Both told us no, unfortunately.
You can't get them all. You can't play 27.
Right. So I don't know much else about them besides those two players.
How many players do you throw the net around sophomore year? You target like 12 in hopes of getting 4? Like, how do the numbers work?
Here at Nebraska, I would say, probably 12 to 20, depending on how many players we need or what positions we need.
To get 4?
4, yeah.
How about at Louisville?
Probably 40.
To get 4?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And, so the guys, it's like colleges, the more selective, the fewer students you have to accept.
Yep.
Because your yield is so much higher. So, if you're like at Iowa, you got to throw the net wide and hope you find some fun. Let's talk about a sleeping giant, Iowa, at some point. They're better this year than they've been in the past.
Oh, I haven't thought much about Iowa. We don't play them till late.
They're 1-3 in the conference right now, 10-6 overall. So, meanwhile, let's talk about our mailbag here. We got one from Sheila. How do the players know who the set will go to? It used to be the setter pulled her shirt out and signaled a number, but don't think they're doing that anymore.
Oh, we still are. Bergen just might not be doing it behind her shirt. She might be verbally saying something, giving a little hand signal behind her back. But most rotations, they do know what they're supposed to run, and maybe she'll just tell them if we're switching it up or doing something different. I don't think it's quite as like pull the shirt out and hold the number there. I think
because that used
to be
quicker.
A little quicker nowadays.
Well, you used to do that, and you guys did okay when you were playing.
Yeah, well, we're doing all right.
No, you're doing okay now too. So, like, how has it changed?
It's still the same. I just don't think she's pulling her shirt.
Okay.
I think she's doing it behind her back or subtly.
Gotcha. And don't those numbers signify the number of front row attackers?
No.
That's what I thought.
The setter signifies what they're supposed to run, whether it's a go, different hand signals for different sets. But it's not always numbers. It might be like a little, like a hook.
Okay, so the middles are signifying the number of front row attackers, and they're holding up.
We don't really do that anymore because everybody should know how many attackers are front row.
Wow.
So usually they're like a lot of times it's that I'm blocking line or am I blocking cross, and they might hold that up.
I totally see why volleyball players have huge GPAs. There's a lot you got to figure. You got to be smart to figure out what's going on in volleyball.
Yeah.
Like
you
number
have
of
great
front row attackers. In the old days, the middles used to signal it, but they're not doing that anymore because everybody knows.
Yeah.
All right, but now what kind of signal? The hook signal? What's the hook signal all about?
Oh, that's maybe a rip, which is an inside go set.
Okay, but every team is a little different.
Yeah.
And you switch it up just in case Washington's listening to this.
Well, they're not going to see it anyways.
Because it's hidden.
What's she going to do, behind her back or maybe just on the side of her leg?
But don't the teams have like a video guy who's in the end zone?
Not on our side of the net, on their side of the net.
Well, you're switching all the time.
I know, but that doesn't but they can't see it live.
But they could be signaling like, hey, I just saw the hook, and they come out with a reverse hook, and everyone on Washington's like, okay, they're going to run on the hook. So, yeah, the fans, like, we get a little conspiratorial, but you're not concerned about sign stealing.
No.
Okay, you don't expect a Michigan football type.
No, I
big
don't.
old.
I don't.
Okay. That's Danny Busboom Kelly. All right, outside of being able to spend quality time with JB and Lauren Cook West, what's your favorite part of game day? This game comes from Echo 6 Actual. I don't think that's the guy's real name, but what's your favorite part of game day?
The favorite part of game day is the game itself, for sure.
Good point.
And, competing and having to make adjustments and, working with the staff. I think those are the best parts of the game day.
Seems like you do really enjoy yourself a lot, and the staff does too during matches.
At one point, when Andy got a great block, I don't even know if she blocked it. It was a great block, though, against Penn State. And Kelly and I were on the sideline cheering Andy, and then I realized we're coaching, we're not we're not cheerleaders. And then we just started laughing because we both knew what we were so excited about because it was an awesome move and something we've been working on in practice. So
nice, and you weren't even sure she was responsible for the block, but you're still chanting her name.
Yeah, she was responsible. I just saying I don't remember if she blocked it for a point.
Okay,
she definitely blocked it back over though.
So you're in the middle of a rally chanting her name.
Yeah.
All righty. Nebraska volleyball taking on Washington and Purdue. Purdue on the road, which is always Holloway Gym.
My toughest place to play, I feel like, in the Big Ten.
Especially when they pull out the whole brass section.
Yes.
Normally they just have a nice size band, and those guys can play.
Yes.
But one time we were there, I think they had the whole football band there. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, guys, I was giving them the dial it down. Like nobody was listening to me. It was unbelievably raucous.
Yeah.
And it's just a great place to play.
It's loud. It's small. Not a lot of room for error because if you shank it a little bit, it's in the stands. So very, very tough place to play.
And so it was close there. Historically, they play us tough.
Always.
Stay right there. Final thoughts. Your Nebraska volleyball show as your Huskers try to continue their unbeaten string this weekend, Washington and Purdue, after you hear this.
They come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough.
Welcome back to your Nebraska Volleyball Show, brought to you by Woodhouse. Woodhouse, of course, has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with a home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. And the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center right here is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Danny Busboom Kelly, Nebraska Volleyball Show. Yours truly, John Baylor. Manaya Obeche hitting 500. If she can get enough swings and enough playing time, she could qualify for the top hitting percentage in the entire conference. How good a freshman is she?
Special. I mean, she's actually really, really good. So not even for a freshman, for any age. She's fantastic. We just so happen to have two potentially first-team All-American middles right now. But she might be a first-team All-American middle herself if she is playing and starting every game.
Wow. She's that good.
She's that good.
There are 47 players on the NCAA National Player of the Year watch list. That's a lot of watching.
Yeah.
Of which there are 8 middles, of which 2 of them are Huskers.
Yep.
So do you think you have the best pair of middles?
100%.
Yeah. And
I think with Manaya, for either Andy or Becca, we'd still have the best pair, which is crazy. So we got the best 3.
Wow.
Pair.
As a pair. So
Yeah,
you're
as
saying
a-
there might be
as a
individuals
triplet.
who are comparable.
Yeah.
But any combo of those 3 would be
then
the best pair.
You've Kenna Kogel right there.
She's awesome. How do we keep her happy and around?
Well, she, red shirt watch.
Yeah.
So that'll separate her a little bit. But she could have a great career here. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but definitely in the future.
Is the effort to get Ryan and Kenna and Carrie red shirts this year?
Yes.
Okay. So the red shirt watch is no longer a watch. It's a,
Well, if we need them, they,
and they're all happy with that. They're okay with it.
Yes.
And you've given them the whole story about you trading your worst year for your best, and adulthood's overrated.
Exactly.
You don't want to rush it. I know you're excited about a cubicle, but it's okay to put it off.
Exactly.
It'll be just fine.
Exactly.
And they're okay with all
Yes.
that. And this whole college existence, not exactly like the real world. Okay, that trading table, you're on your own if you leave. So let's all hang out.
Exactly.
I mean, if you sell
Keep
this
them
well,
here.
they're going to be asking for a second red shirt. You're like, sorry, I got bad news. You only can take one for the
Yes.
moment. But they're all pretty happy with it.
Yes.
Good deal. Now, what makes you most concerned about Washington and Purdue this weekend? Is it on your side of the net?
The schedule a little bit's a little wonky. We play Washington late, 8 p.m. game, and then we turn around, we leave for Purdue, practice there, and then play at 1 Eastern. So that's again weird with the travel day in between and where we're practicing, and just creates some new challenges. But I do think just the complacency piece and staying motivated, and then can't overlook Washington. I feel like our team's going to be pretty fired up to play Purdue. they are having such a great year, but let's not overlook the first opponent. Those are some of the keys there.
The right side, how close is it between Virginia, Adriano, and Allie Check over there?
Still close, but Virginia has some pretty explosive attacks, and Allie comes in and does a great job, and we're just blessed to have two great setters and two great opposites that we can do a lot with.
Ever had a team with this kind of depth?
No.
I like those answers. Hey, you like camping? No. So Bergen Riley right now is getting most of your playing time, and does she reassure you pretty much that whenever you go into a match, you've got the better setter?
Yes, for sure. I always feel like we have the better setter, and not just setter, but defender at right back, blocker, server. She just does it all so well.
Is she getting enough praise? It seems like a lot of the other players get huge applause, and here you have the quarterback of the whole team effectively, and she kind of goes under the radar a little bit.
She's a little under the radar, but I think that's a little of her personality. She's not super, loud and boisterous, and she is just confident. She gets the job done, and she stays pretty even-keeled, whether through her highs and lows.
We didn't get to this earlier. Are we going retro or alternate jerseys any point this year?
I believe, honestly, I don't know the question of that. I think so.
You're focused on winning right now.
Yeah.
This other stuff is kind of the marketing department.
Yes,
you like
exactly.
the retro stuff?
I do like alternate jerseys a lot, so I'm all for it.
You played awfully well with the black jerseys against Penn State, and you pulled out that win against Kentucky.
There you go.
We've seen black jerseys for the big matches in the future, too?
I don't even know who makes the decision.
You show up and you're like, oh, that's what we're wearing.
Oh, it looks great.
Everyone's looking dynamite. I agree. Nebraska should be on the front. All right, Coach, we have to go into our official Texas portion of this weekly Nebraska volleyball show. Texas has 7 consecutive sweeps. They've won 23 consecutive sets. They're hitting .307, a little lower than Nebraska's attack percentage. They're holding opponents to 170, a little higher than Nebraska. And you just mentioned you think we have an advantage at the setter position. How good is this Texas team? Is this a collision course potentially?
You don't want to get ahead of yourself, because I know there's been years past that we've had collision courses that have not actually happened. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Texas is very, very good. They don't have, I don't even know what hole they could potentially have. They've got great opposite who's playing 6 rotations and 2 great middles, 2 great lefts. They got a great libero and a great DS who came from Indiana.
Ramsey Gary. And
they're running a little double sub action too.
Tori Stafford, you're familiar with her because she played 2 years at Pittsburgh. For the second straight year, she's hitting .350 and above as an outside hitter, and she's averaging 4.3 kills a set. How?
She's so physical. She's smart. She's just the total pack. She can get out of the back row. She's a total package as an outside hitter.
That ends the Texas portion of the show and the show. Friday night against Washington. Good luck. See you there.
Thank you.
That's Sandy Busboom Kelly. That's your Nebraska Volleyball Show. Good night, Nebraska.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
1 year, 0 interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed Program will receive 100 units of free CVA Elite soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Good evening, I'm Esteban Quintero, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. In Husker basketball news, all tip-off times were released today. The men's basketball team opens exhibition play against BYU at the Pinnacle Bank Arena on October 18th. With tip-off set for noon, the women's team will host Mount Mary for an exhibition game on October 24th at 8 p.m. Single game tickets are available now at huskers.com/tickets. In MLB playoff action, the Toronto Blue Jays host the New York Yankees tonight at 7:08, while the Seattle Mariners take on the Detroit Tigers right now. The Mariners are leading with a score of 2-0. Both games can be seen on Fox Sports. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the cream. Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap. Quick screen near left. Leaping catch from Hunter. Leaks through. Breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes. Hunter 40. 35-30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
Back right swing by Kennedy Martin, dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano. Kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Appreciate the head coach, Danny Busboom Kelly, and John Baylor, as always. The most entertaining hour of the week.
It's
right here on Sports Nightly.
I can't wait for it every single week. Those two are, they kind of finish each other's sentences. They like to chat about history of volleyball and the conference and other conferences, and whether it's on air, off air, they just love to talk volleyball. So it makes for great radio.
They're very giggly, too. You know what I have loved, because I obviously wasn't here when Danny Busboom Kelly was here before, and everybody always just speaks so highly about her, but she's so down to earth, and you could tell her players love that, but I think it's fun when she comes in here to the studio and she's laughing and talking about high chews, and it's just, I think sometimes it could be, this is the program and all the pressures that come with it, but she just seems to be having such a great time, and she's not afraid to show that.
Well, I think, it says a lot about coaches that they get so wound up in what they're doing, right? Sometimes when you get in settings like this, when you're talking to your broadcaster or your radio network where you want to just, it's a little bit of a time to relax a little bit, as opposed to when you're at the podium. I get the feeling that's sort of what it's like for her when she comes in here. It's an hour that she sort of gets a chance to take a deep breath when she's talking to JB, as opposed to the craziness of when you talk to the regular assembled media, and that's what makes for great radio. But I think also, too, you look at it from the perspective of she's a mom, right? And I think sometimes we forget to sort of think of it, whether you're a father or a mother, but you're also a head coach. There's always that added perspective to things, I think, that you don't have when you're one-track minded, and maybe you don't have kids and other things outside of the sport, where you could just be so tense all the time, where it just doesn't seem like that's the case for her. And that's kind of how you have to be.
I also love their back and forth talking about, she had said that Rutgers was now, I'd moved up her list as one of her favorite places to play. She said she could feel just the appreciation of Nebraska being there. But I talked with Kelly Natter for the Dig this week, and she mentioned that, yes, there were a lot of Nebraska fans and people were cheering for Nebraska, but when Rutgers would do something, they'd cheer too. So it was just like a great volleyball crowd. And so they both, really raved on just the atmosphere of Rutgers. And I don't know if Rutgers is one that a lot of people consider as one of the destination places to play in the Big Ten for volleyball. But they just both went on and on about that. But also dove into just the magnitude, which we talked about this a little bit last night, that is Nebraska volleyball and selling out for the biggest crowd that's ever watched a volleyball match in New Jersey history. But, they were diving into, and you had mentioned this, like maybe there's a Caitlin Clark or a player or an athlete, but a team as a whole, as big as Nebraska volleyball and women's sports, I don't know if you can, because it's not just one or two players. I mean, there are so many players that are superstars that are somebody's favorite player, and you can probably poll a bunch of different people that are Nebraska fans, and they might have 5 different people that are their favorite player,
Yeah, and, Harper Murray certainly has that social media footprint where you'd say, okay, a lot of people are coming just to watch her, but it's a program and it's a team that's the sum of its parts. You go to Devaney and you see people in the NIL age now wearing Andy Jackson T-shirts or Bergen Riley T-shirts or Harper Murray T-shirts. You're right, it's not just one person where the central focus is narrowed around that. And the reason that you look at it that way is, well, this is, as a team, they're the best team in the country. And it's not even close. So, I don't necessarily think that was the case, say, for Caitlin Clark in Iowa, where it was a really, really good team, but it wasn't the best team in the country. This is a program that's consistently been one of the best, but now you look at a team this year that is clearly, I think, the best team in the country.
Yeah. But I always enjoy listening to the volleyball hour here. Just the interaction, the camaraderie, the chemistry between the two. It's always fun. So we're gonna be releasing The Dig with Kelly Natter coming up tomorrow on our Huskers Radio Network podcast platform, so you can listen to that. We dive more into Penn State, but also previewing the weekend and a lot of fun stuff. I've talked to you about this before, and I've said this, but I feel like it's a sport I'm still learning, and that when I talk to those assistant coaches every week, I just try to I think it's selfishly for me. I'm like, okay, well, tell me about this, and how to learn the X's and O's and really the beyond just what I'm seeing as a casual viewer, really understanding kind of how the ebbs and flows and the ins and outs of the sport.
I don't think you're alone in that either. When it's a sport that's blossoming, whether it's volleyball, I think there's a lot of people in softball in that regard that are learning more and more about the sport because they see it on television for the first time, and it allows them to get that interest and ask more questions. I think volleyball's in that space too, where there's a lot more people that are seeing it on ABC, seeing it on ESPN, and they become invested in these players and these teams, and then they get invested in, when it comes down to the wire, in these national semifinal matchups that have high ratings and national finals, and then that forces them to then learn more about the sports, watch more YouTube videos, and then for you get the opportunity to get firsthand and get that firsthand sort of answers to some of those questions you have.
And I think, look, this is not new for Nebraska fans in the state of Nebraska. Volleyball has been what it is. I think when we're talking about its growth and its explosion, it's these fans that probably showed up at New York and maybe or at Rutgers and watched a match for the first time. Who knows? A lot of just the outreach of that this team and that this program has now gone so far beyond the state of Nebraska and Nebraska fans that have been lifelong fans. They just have drawn in a different generation, I guess, and even outside of probably even Nebraska fans that just appreciate the greatness of this team.
I think the biggest test, too, is how does it eventually translate, and I think we're getting there, to a consistent professional league. For volleyball, of course, John Cook's involved with the team in Omaha. Softball, Athletes Unlimited has become big, and the MLB is invested in that. How can you find a way specifically for women's sports in these sports that are now in some places turning into revenue opportunities with softball and volleyball, which is, it's crazy to think 10 years ago that would be the case. How do you transition now through investment and this increased viewership into, kind of growing professional leagues in volleyball and softball? I think that is the next big step. How do you take a celebrity of a Nebraska, grow it nationally, and then when these stars take that next step to the professional level, can they continue to be the stars that they are here in college?
Yeah, and look at the WNBA. It's a perfect example of that it wasn't as consistent, I guess, and now that it's gotten some consistency, they have more stars, they have more interest, there's more, the viewership is through the roof, the sales, the ticket sales, all of that. And so now they're challenging to want more, to want better treatment, to want, and that's where I think the WNBA is probably the most consistent women's, it is, professional league at this point. It's still got a long ways to go, as we're hearing from players and some of the coaches in the league. But it hopefully, and I know that's John Cook's vision. He's always been just a revolutionist, a visionary of how to continue to grow and push the sport. And he did it at such a high level at the college level. Now he wants to do it at the professional level to do just what you're talking about, to provide these opportunities for these women to continue their stardom, because now you get these fans that want to follow them and want to go and continue to be fans of them, but it's harder to do that once they get out of college for the women's teams and for the women's athletes.
Yeah, and I think it coincides too, and WNBA is a good test case because there's a lot of individual star power that I don't think we've seen in that league. There's always been great players in the WNBA. But
they're stars.
The phenomena of Caitlin Clark and shooting from the logo and all these things that sort of Steph Curry brought to the league in the NBA years ago, and then Paige Beckers and eventually Juju Watkins and Angel Reese, and the fascination around her, and of course the celebrity that she became after winning a national championship at LSU, and some of the characters you have in college specifically as coaches, and Dawn Staley and Kim Mulkey, and that has grown the game. But again, I think in the growing age, social media is such a negative thing most of the time. But the positive of social media, it's allowed a lot of these college athletes, specifically female college athletes, to grow such a celebrity online that people go and watch games because they want to meet these stars that to them, they may not know a whole lot about what they do on the court or the field, but they know them as social media celebrities. And I think that has helped grow some of women's sports as well as, the invent of Instagram followings and TikTok followings. And I think that is a huge part of these leagues, just sort of gaining on the traction of what these athletes have done on their social media platforms, and then realize, oh yeah, they're really, really good athletes and they play a really cool game, and let's grow it that way. And I think you've seen, specifically I bring up volleyball and softball because I think they're the two biggest test cases. There's a lot of individual stardom, and a lot of those players have helped grow their individual brands, and they play a really cool game, and that you're starting to see more and more people recognize that.
Well, and look, this year at the Women's College World Series had bigger viewership than the College World Series.
It did, and it's a fast, quick game. Volleyball is a fast, quick game that's played within a perfect 2-hour television window for the most part. Baseball's gotten quicker, but baseball's always been known as that 3.5 hour game where it's tough to sit through. Volleyball and softball aren't that, and it's easy to watch, and you have stars, and you have exciting plays and high-level play, and the resources and the backing now, when you look at the Big Ten and the SEC and these quote-unquote non-revenue sports, or as I think Troy always calls it, like the big four women's sports that we always talk about, there's a lot more resources, and you're seeing it with the quality of the play.
Look at you. You're not just a football guy.
Before I got here, I was not, as people like to point out.
No, I really didn't plan on spending this much time talking about it, but,
Yeah, I went on a tangent there.
I did too. It sparked, just listening to Danny and John Baylor there in that first hour just kind of got my mind wondering a little bit. Then I didn't think we were going to go on this tangent, but we do have press conference clips. So we had our weekly meeting with the media for Husker football with the coordinators and players. So both John Butler, Dana Holgerson at the podium today. We're going to play you a few highlights from those press conferences coming up, dive into that, talk a little Maryland. So football talk coming up here on the other side of this of Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hey Husker fans, every grower's got that game-winning play. Maybe it's upgrading that old pivot, switching up the play with smart tech, or controlling water like a pro. Valley Irrigation's putting $100,000 on the line to back 2 growers ready to score big. This is your chance to get that $75K or $25K irrigation grant, plus a $50 parts or service voucher just for logging in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Visit valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. That's valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Set yourself up for success with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit Sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same: a wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields. With the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn, the unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore-less corn, and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. The Husker football team had their weekly media with the coordinators, players this afternoon, as they always do on Tuesdays. But will that change next week, or will it still be the same?
I'd have to ask. I don't know the answer to that question. It's a good
1 week at a time for us here.
I would say it probably won't, because it's still travel day. They're still traveling on Thursday this week, so they're traveling Thursday. I would assume Thursday next week, with it being Minnesota. So it should be the same.
That was one thing that Coach Rule talked about. We knew that we were going to be traveling a day early a couple weeks ago as they were making plans. But it's just, again, fascinating the details that Coach Rule wants to dive into, pick the brains of the people that are studied this, are experts at it, what's best for this football team, and being able to perform at their highest when you've got a long road trip and then a quick turnaround playing on a Friday night. Just no stone left unturned in terms of just making sure that when you're taking care of the body and executing and performing at your highest level, Coach Rule's trying to make sure they're doing all of it.
Yeah, everything has to be done at an elite level, and Coach Rule's case, an NFL level, he has that experience. But I think Kristen Coggin, who's the head nutritionist for football, is actually going a day early, make sure they have everything. So I think this was an interesting note he said on Monday. They have the actual chefs that are at the training table that they bring on the road with them. So all the specific things that maybe they would eat on a game day here are available for them on the road in the hotel, which I think is really cool. And, the test case would be at Penn State. They're going out west, and I'm not necessarily sure what their travel plans were, but if they flew in the day before, and you got to take some time to get a little bit acclimated when you're 3 hours. And even, 3 hours is not as much as, say, a cross-country flight, but it's still enough to get acclimated.
So the practice here on Thursday, then load up, fly out, have the full day, and then staying close to the hotel. So for a 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. But wanted to dive in and play a few of the highlights from the press conferences today. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. And John Butler, of course, quarterback Malik Washington. Kyle talked a little bit about him yesterday, but Coach Butler was asked about him and, just the challenges of defending Malik Washington.
He looks like he's very well coached, meaning that he obviously hasn't been sacked, and he really hasn't made many mistakes on tape. So he knows where to go with the ball based on what the coverage looks like pre-snap, what the coverage looks like post-snap. Looks like he has some really good blitz answers that he makes. He's a decisive kid and makes the throws. So, you just look at his numbers through the year. Every game he's thrown for over 200 yards, throws a nice ball. So I think it's definitely a challenge. And then he's got some skill around him at receiver some skill guys that can run, and a tight end that can get open and catch the ball. So it's definitely a challenge for us, probably one of our biggest challenges to this point, just in terms of the overall passing game, the operation of their passing game, how well he's coached by their offensive staff. So it's definitely a huge challenge.
Yeah, didn't play well in the second half against Washington. And we'll hear from Dana, but Dana mentioned it earlier today that this is a chance for them to get the bad taste out of their mouth from what they did in the second half. They're up 20-0.
How did he describe it, Dana?
I don't remember exactly what you're.
He had I don't know exactly. He was pretty blunt about it. He said it was awful, basically.
Yeah, it was not good. It was a collapse for Maryland, and so they'll get a chance to get back on their home field.
Sorry, I was talking about Nebraska, what Coach Holgerson talked about with.
Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood you there.
But you look at Malik Washington, another true freshman. So this will be another true freshman that they'll play. Of course, you had Bryce Underwood come here to Lincoln, and Malik Washington is a top level recruit, number 2 player in their state, and he's gotten off to a really good start through the first 5 games of the year. He's one of 4 true freshman power conference quarterbacks to have at least 200 pass yards in their first 5 career games. He's had 3 consecutive games with a rush touchdown. He doesn't look to run, but he can beat you with his legs. It's an offense that doesn't, at least they have not been able to run the ball effectively, but they have 3 really good receivers on the outside, Jaleel Farouk, Octavian Smith, and Shalik Knotts, where you heard Coach Butler say it, have an incredible amount of speed and have big playability. They have 2 guys that have, I think, 17 or more yards per catch, so that tells me that they have that explosive play ability. And it's going to be a handful, especially for that pass defense. So I'm excited to see a strength on a strength in Nebraska's pass defense against their wide receiving corps.
All right, let's get right to that. Coach Butler was asked just what challenges Maryland's offense poses outside of that quarterback.
They're a balanced offense. Their statistics passing game wise are better than run game wise, but we always have to pay attention to their run game. I think that their passing game is not just drop back oriented. They're good in the play action game. They're good in the RPO game. And then they really have 3, but really 2 main guys. They're averaging over 17 yards a catch. So when you have that, you better make sure that you're in position, that you're challenging them, that you've got, population around their routes. And so I think that, it's a combination of their scheme, which I think their staff does a good job of, the quarterback who really knows where to go with the ball. And then, they like to get the ball into those receivers' hands and that tight end's hands and give them a chance to run. So, whether we're playing man or we're playing zone, we've got to do a good job.
Yeah, and they also have that added ability of a really good tight end, just like we saw week 1 with Cincinnati. But John Mackey, watchless guy, and Dorian Fleming, who they got from Georgia State, top 10 in the country for tight ends and receptions in FBS. 2 years at Georgia State, had a really good season last year, was an all Sun Belt player. And, last game actually had the best PFF rating on the team, and a season high 10 targets, had career high 9 catches. So that's an added element. And we always say a good tight end is a mismatch for some defenses. And how are they able to eliminate? We mentioned the really good targets on the outside, but how do they stop a good tight end in Dorian Fleming?
As you've dove into your research and prep for this one, how do they compare on special teams to Nebraska special teams? How does that look on paper?
So just like we saw last week, Michigan State had a really good punter. We'll start there. Bryce McPherson, he actually leads the Big Ten in punt average, about 48 yards per boot. So if you talk about in these games, their field position, especially on the road, you want to try to win field position. Now, Nebraska definitely did win field position this past week, couldn't capitalize. But he leads the Big Ten in net punt yardage. Pretty solid kicker that's only missed 2 kicks in his career, Sean O'Hare, who's somebody who comes over from Richmond. Kick return game, they have not done a whole lot this year. They're actually 17th in the Big Ten in terms of yardage per kick return, and then punt return fairly average. I think going into the last game, Nebraska had given up -1 yards on punt returns. They only average about 6 yards per punt return. That's 14th in the league. So their punter and kicker are really solid. I think their punter is one of the best in the conference. But in the return game, nothing, at least in looking at the numbers, scares me.
At what point do you think teams will stop kicking to Ja'Cory Barney?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think this week he still will get an opportunity to make some catches and run with it. And credit to those guys blocking for him too. Obviously,
Yeah.
Carter Nelson makes that mistake on the block in the back and the touchdown that gets called back. But he's had some room to run, which means the other 10 guys are doing their job.
So if they start trying to take Ja'Cory Barney out of it, does Nebraska just take whatever field position you get, or do you maybe try to put somebody else back there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't take Barney off the field, because when you take Barney off the field, it takes your best athlete off the field.
Yeah.
Force them, if they want to kick it out of bounds or do whatever, don't let other teams dictate what you do personnel-wise. I think one thing that they have and they've figured out, and other teams will make adjustments, is they can get after it. They can block some punts, right? Jameer Khan, it almost seems like that's his specialty. How do they find now new and unique ways to get after the punter and make some game-changing turnover-type plays on special teams? That's what's so fun about a long marathon season. It's a chess game. Now, Mike Eckler, Nebraska's put on tape what they do to get after the punter. How do you present different looks to something that Maryland has not seen yet? We'll find out.
Listen, I'm not suggesting to pull Jacory by any means, obviously, but I think, obviously, we were talking about Andrew Marshall was out there warming up. I know he's, practiced a lot in that regard. He came in as a highly touted guy in the return game, so I just didn't know if maybe they try to take Jacory out of it. You throw somebody else out there, maybe they'll kick to somebody else to make some plays.
Yeah, just force them to punt. Just keep Jacory out there, and if they want to try and punt the ball out of bounds and they're scared to death, that'll force them into more mistakes. So.
True.
I think you stick with what you got because it's really darn good. And boy, we haven't said that in a long time around here.
Absolutely. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got to get to a break. On the other side of this, we'll hear from the offensive coordinator, Dana Holgerson. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 8th and October 31st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 28th in Lincoln, plus a pregame tailgate experience. Don't miss your shot to be a part of the action. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Fall City or Osceola Implement to enter. It's easy, it's free, and you could be cheering on the Huskers in person this season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole. Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. From enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields. With the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with Power Core-less corn. And other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Count on Medica to protect your team with affordable group health plans, flexible benefits, and the close-to-home care they want. Husker Nation, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Learn more and get a quote at medica.com. Welcome back to Sports Night with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. All right, we heard from the defensive coordinator. Let's now hear from the offensive coordinator, Dana Holgorsen. And obviously, Kyle, there's a stretch there. It was not very pretty on Saturday against Michigan State.
Yeah, you clocked it, right? Was it 40 minutes of actual time?
Yeah, so, they got up and started warming up, and then they still were warming up for a while before they actually took the field, because there was a couple timeouts, of course, the special teams score, the long drive. So I'm like, gosh, how long has it been since they played? And so I went back and I tried to track it as best as I could. So 3:18, by the time they got out on the field again, it was over 40 minutes.
And it mattered. It looked like it.
Yeah.
And I think, what was it, a 19-play stretch that everybody seems to be talking about, and for good reason. That was one of the worst that we've seen in quite some time around here, I think.
Yeah.
But look, it happens. And the fact that you're able to say that sentence and then look at the scoreboard and win by double figures, that says something. It means that your team has a little bit of resolve and grit, especially in late in the third quarter and the fourth when everything was going against you. And I'll say it, the pivotal point in the game, to me, the whole turning point was when Nebraska, late in the third quarter, going into the wind, you're getting set to flip fields in the fourth and have the wind behind your back. But Damon he said, just try to find a way to have some success in this quarter with the wind in your face. And they were able to. In the final nearly a minute and a half, 2 minutes of the third quarter, they're about to go 3 and out again. It's 3rd and 10. Dillon eludes a rush, rolls to his right. Ja'Cory Barney and Coach Rule had detailed the entire route from Ja'Cory, that it was a decision by him. I think he ran an out route. It was covered up, so he made the decision to run that go route down the sideline. And then Dillon drops the ball. It's a little bit underthrown, but again, it's going into the wind. And Ja'Cory makes that adjustment, and they're able to link up for a big-time play. And then a couple plays later, it's Emmett Johnson in the end zone. So just like that, after you fall down, you'd given up 21 unanswered points, you're able to tie the game at that point. I think you had a good feeling of where that game was trending.
So that's where we start. Coach Holgorsen was asked about the stretch in the middle that was tough goings for this offense.
Yeah, it's tough. Ironically enough, the last time I experienced that was 2013 at Maryland. Hadn't been through a 2-quarter stretch like that. That was tough. There is a lot that went into it. I can give you a bunch of excuses, but at the end of the day, it's about just executing, and we didn't do that. Every play that we called, and there's an explanation for what went wrong on every play. And whether it was one guy or whether it was a bad call or somebody got whipped or somebody busted an assignment or whatever it was, you can pinpoint what went wrong on every single play. And so that's our job as coaches. But it was challenging. We just had so much momentum, and that first drive, we 3-and-outed them, and first drive was an outstanding drive. We actually converted 3 third downs on that drive. They gave us credit for 2 because we took the penalty, but Luke had got the first down on that. So we converted 3 first downs and then punched it in, when we're in the low red zone. So we were excited to see that. Then we sat there on the sidelines for 30 minutes. And we got more momentum, which was awesome, and crowd was into it and we were feeling it. And then we next time we go out there 30 minutes later was after an explosive play by Ja'Cory. You know, the one thing that saved us in the second quarter is our field position was just as good as it possibly can be.
Yeah, it was 25 plays, 19 total yards during that stretch. That's obviously not good. The average field position for Nebraska was their own 47-yard line. I think it was 3 or 4 drives. I have to go back and get the exact number that they started on the plus side of the 50. And they just were not. That was the most frustrating part about the game is you're saying to yourself at halftime, it's 14-7. This should be a 3-possession game. But you fall flat on your face, and it's hard to imagine, again, up 2 touchdowns, the way things were going. In that second quarter, nothing going. For most of the third quarter, nothing going. You stick with it. You know, I like the game plan. I like what they were trying to do, but it comes down to guys doing their jobs. And we can say when Dylan's under pressure that we could put it all on the tackles and say it's all Elijah Pritchett or all Gunnar Katula, but it's guys not getting open. Sometimes it's Dylan holding on to the ball too long. There's a lot of different layers when you peel back the onion on a sack and some of those negative plays.
All right, let's keep it there with the offensive line. Obviously, the shuffling with the tackles, with Gunnar Katula making the start at right tackle, Elijah Pritchett at left. Coach Holgerson was asked about those two guys and how they handled the game.
They just got to keep improving every day, man. I mean, you know, we just made that decision to, go with those guys. You know, there's older people behind them that know more, but those guys are younger and they're the future, you know. So they had a good day out there today, and they just need to put their head down. We got to coach them hard, and, you know, I think they're just going to get better every week.
I think it's important, too, for the Huskers to have some sort of consistency now moving forward. Once now you hit into the heart of Big Ten play, barring any injury, knock on wood, you hope that doesn't happen. But if these guys are the future and they're the best 2 you got, and it's not just because they're the future that they're playing, it's because they're the best 2 tackles, whether it's in practice or on game day. These are the guys they have the most confidence in. Gunnar at right tackle, Elijah at left tackle. You just got to run with it now. You have to deal with some mistakes and just go with it.
Yeah, and Searles and I did a whole podcast, the Sideline Slice, which is out now. We talked about that a lot, just the importance of giving those guys time now to build that, you know, just the trust and chemistry with the guys next to them. So you can listen to all of that you want to talk about the offensive line on the Sideline Slice. Okay, so this offensive line, the 5 sacks last week, what was it, 7 the week before?
Yeah.
And Maryland is leading the Big Ten, 4th in the country in team sacks. So Holgerson was asked about the challenge of that and Maryland's pressure.
Yes, especially this bunch. You know, I mean, they got those, the 29 and 9 off the edge, young kids. I've never seen young kids like that with that much explosion. The backers will, you know, they're gonna bring them. You know, they line one of them up at end in passing situations. You know, there's the inside guy, number 10, who I actually know. His grandma was my secretary, ironically enough. Kid was a quarterback in high school. He turned into their best D lineman. Proud of him. He was in the office a lot, but they're gonna pressure, and we got a big challenge ahead of us, and I'm excited about that challenge. Can we improve to the point to where we can protect the quarterback? My job is to protect the quarterback. I got to put him in position to get the ball out. I got to get those guys to protect him.
How does Dana make the adjustments now? And you saw him make adjustments in the Michigan State game, but in terms of quick screens, getting the ball out of Dylan's hands, coming into this game, you'd have to think a lot of those same play calls come into effect. How do you slow down a pass rush aside from blocking it and get the ball out, force them into, you know, some of those, whether it's delayed running game when you have the pass rushers getting upfield and allow Emmett to do his thing in that sort of delayed running game, and then also the screen game with Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key and Ja'Cory Barney, and just letting your athletes make plays near the line of scrimmage and get out in open space. So they have some, like you said, 4th in the country, 19 sacks this year. So it's everything that probably as a Nebraska fan on paper you don't want to see, is a team that can get after the quarterback that you're going to see on the road. And it's an environment that I think was sold out last week and is probably better than it gets credit for. So it should be loud in there, and you have to deal with that as well.
Dane Key didn't have a single catch.
Did not. And you know who my pick to click was this past week?
Dane Key.
It was.
And I think everyone will agree, including Dane, that can't happen. He's got to be able to get involved.
Yeah, and there's some other things maybe that goes into that we don't necessarily know about, but I would imagine that he's set to have a big week this week. And I think there was one of the sacks that the Coach Rule and Dana talked about today, as well as one of the sacks that Dylan took. Dane was wide open near the goal line on a deep in cut that Dylan just missed. So maybe that was an opportunity for him to get a big catch in that moment. And then you never know, does that change his day? But all I know is he'll be ready, and they're going to need him.
Yeah, absolutely. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back to wrap up the show next.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Here at Boot Barn, our objective is to build the perfect boot. We do take our time ensuring that every step is done correctly. For a boot to last you for a lifetime, you've got to properly build the boots. Hand craftsmanship is, in my opinion, the only way you're going to achieve that. We handcraft our boots. 160 people take a boot from start to finish. We have skilled artisans at every stage of the game. We've been handcrafting boots since the beginning here at Boot Barn, and we'll continue to do so.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Tuesday night edition with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. So I don't know if you talked about this last night. Obviously, you told people I got mad at you and left.
She kicked in the door.
We were recording a couple things yesterday in the studio, and Coach Hoiberg made a point to come by and introduce himself to you. He's one of my favorites. I mean, I think I say that about every coach here, but one of the nicest human beings possible.
Yeah, it was awesome to meet him. So we were recording a segment, and he was walking in with Seamus, the great communications director for men's hoops. And
His
it was
birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Seamus.
It almost seemed like he was hiding that fact when you screamed out Seamus happy birthday. He just sort of ignored you there for a little bit. But I think we're all that way. He's just a humble guy. But no, it was great to meet Coach Hoiberg, and I look forward to watching them getting this season started pretty soon. I think he said they practiced in the morning yesterday, so I guess he was doing some media stuff up here, but he's ready to get going, and it starts with BYU, who's like a top 5 team, he was saying. So.
Yeah, that's what he was joking about. On that note, so ESPN released their preseason rankings. They've got BYU at 7. So, I mean, this is a top 10 team. You can buy those tickets. I know that they're hoping for a big crowd there in Pinnacle Bank Arena coming up on October 18th, the noon tip-off. So not just that, but all of the game times have now been released. That happened today. So you can, if you're waiting on the times to figure out which games you wanted to be there, be a part of, purchase your tickets to, you can now plan that as all of those game times have been announced, which I know Josh and Russ are super excited about, so they can start planning the schedule.
Oh, it's tough for those guys. Maybe you can't see Josh right now behind my shoulder and Russ, but those guys, I want to give them a shout out, especially during football season in Camden as well, who, you hear us on the radio, but what you don't hear or see are those guys back here who are here for an 11-hour game day on a football game day, and then you have men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball. Those things don't just get on the air through magic and osmosis, and they have to be here to run all of them. So we appreciate all those guys who sacrifice a lot of nights, weekends, holidays to make sure that you're hearing all these games because of them.
It's, November is wild here in the Huskers Radio Network, as we've got 4 teams that we try to get on the air. So, but again, huskers.com/tickets if you want to purchase those tickets, the starting 5 mini plan as well. So huskers.com/tickets. Okay, so coming up tomorrow, we will have our football hour in the 6 o'clock hour, and you got the defensive line coach coming in.
Terry Braden, excited to chat with him, talk some D-line. We'll hear from Elijah Judy as well at his first career sack, married. He's a father. Matt Rule was the best man at his wedding. We asked him about that. And so he's an interesting guy that has a really good relationship with Coach Braden and Coach Rule and all those guys. So we'll hear from him, the veteran, and getting ready for Maryland as well.
Yeah, so they're actually working on a special feature. I was able to be a part of that interview with Elijah and his family. It's really neat, and diving into all of that and just the connection there, and Coach Rule dropping everything to be there. So that full feature is going to come out this week as well on Elijah. But it's just really neat too that his son Coda is able to come to practices whenever they want. I mean, that's one thing that was really important to Elijah's family, that and Coach Rule has also found it very important that, hey, it's your family's around. Archie Wilson's family was here for several weeks. They were able to go to practices. It's open door. They have the family dinners on Mondays. I mean, it's the real deal. It's not just speak. They are there. They're around. We've seen them, and it's part of that culture and why they're so tightly bonded within that locker room.
I think I've seen Coda at the training table. And like you said, they're at practice all the time, and he's had an interesting journey. Started at Texas A&M, and now he's starting to realize the peak of his potential, and no better guy to help him find that than Terry Braden, who coached in the NFL for one of the premier franchises in the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm sure we'll chat about his time in Kansas City as well with Coach Braden tomorrow.
All right, so that's coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. We'll have second hour. We'll have that regular Sports Nightly here for you tomorrow night. We'll also maybe hear a portion of the dig and kind of preview the week. No rest for the weary. You have an impressive showing, and then you've got a big weekend. Washington coming to town, then at Purdue, always a tough place to play for volleyball.
Yeah, it's one of those really, it's kind of like a checklist venue for Big Ten volleyball at Purdue. So that'll be a lot of fun, but you got to keep it going. Still unbeaten. You have the target on your back. No bigger target of anybody in the country than what Nebraska volleyball is dealing with at the current moment.
Husker Wrestling will be in tomorrow. They've, again, we talked about all the teams coming in, doing their intro video shoots. Tomorrow it's Husker Wrestling, so we'll maybe try to catch one of those guys for you as well. And their season is quickly approaching as well. All right, that's going to do it for us here tonight on Sports Nightly. Thanks to Josh for helping us get this on the air. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly. Wrestling, so we'll maybe try to catch one of those guys for you as well. And their season is quickly approaching as well. All right, that's going to do it for us here tonight on
Experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
1 year, 0 interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed Program will receive 100 units of free CVA Elite soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.